Hello and welcome to this second tutorial on WOV. In the previous episode we talked about how a tremolo works and how to use WOV's core parameters. Today we will see how to change everything we set up last time through three new parameters: response, variation and silence. Let's go! The response control changes our default rate setting according to the incoming signal's amplitude. A loud signal will change our tremolo rate and a quiet one won't. This parameter is bipolar. The amplitude variation can either increase or decrease the tremolo rate. If we rotate the knob to the right, a high amplitude will make our tremolo faster. If we rotate it to the left, it will slow it down. The response effect becomes more evident with highly dynamic sounds, such as acoustic instruments, electric pianos, or drum loops. A synthesized sound with a relatively static nature won't produce a remarkable output. The response parameter will increase or decrease the rate parameter in the same way when WOV is free running or synced to our DAW. Like response, the variation control changes our tremolo rate. We can see that both are connected to the rate control interface. However, there are two differences. The first one is that this parameter here is entirely random, meaning that it defines how likely our frequency may change. The second one is that this frequency change may happen in just two ways, double or half the original frequency that we set. As we rotate the virtual knob to the right, we can hear that more and more modulation cycles of twice the rate value will appear. If we rotate it to the left, the same thing happens, but with half-speed modulation cycles. The variation control always doubles or halves our rate setting, either when WOV is free running or synced with our DAW. The silence control works on a random basis, just like variation. The difference here is that it defines the probability that some modulation cycles will be silent. This control works in one direction only, so we say that it is unipolar. If we rotate the silence knob clockwise, we start hearing some gaps here and there at random times. When fully clockwise, the probability that silent cycles may occur is the highest. You may have noticed that a silent cycle sounds exactly the same as when a slider on a multi-slider is set to its lower position. It is true. In both cases, we are experiencing zero modulation over our sound. However, the main difference is that with the multi-slider we always know when a silent cycle will happen, because it is an arbitrary control. It depends uniquely on our decisions. The silence control, on the other hand, is random, and the choice of silent cycles is only up to the device. In the previous video we have seen how the stereo control can affect the multi-slider. However, we can see that also two of the three parameters that we saw today can benefit from this control as well. When we activate the stereo function, the response parameter will treat the left and right channels differently. For example, if the left channel has a stronger amplitude but the right one doesn't, WOV will increase the modulation rate on the left channel only. When the stereo switch is off, WOV perceives the dynamic globally, meaning that the frequency will change for both left and right channels equally if either one has an increment in amplitude. On the other hand, with the silence parameter, the stereo mode creates two separate processes, one for the left and one for the right channel. In this way, WOV will generate random silent cycles at different times on the stereo image. When combined, all the parameters that we saw today will create interesting textures that can improve our sounds and create anything from rhythmic grooves to evolving pads. We will talk more about advanced combination of these parameters, even with other plugins, in the next episodes of this series. So if you want to know more about WOV and other K-Devices instruments, please consider subscribing to our channel and staying in touch with us.